It's the kind of matchup that makes boxing fans sit up a little straighter. A rising powerhouse barely old enough to rent a car facing a seasoned veteran who has seen it all, survived it all, and still believes he has one last big night left in him. The talk around Moses Itama has been loud, relentless, and filled with the kind of hype that either launches a legend or sets up a crash landing. But the moment his name got linked with Dillian Whyte, the conversation shifted from future potential to immediate danger. Because as flashy as an unbeaten record looks on paper, records don't hit back. Dillian Whyte does. Moses Itama's rise has been nothing short of meteoric. Undefeated, dominant, and brimming with the kind of confidence that makes even established contenders take notice. He's the fighter that insiders whisper about in gyms, the one sparring partners don't talk too much about for fear of making it sound like hype. A blend of power, precision, and composure well beyond his years. But in boxing, every phenom eventually hits that wall, the opponent who doesn't just take shots but returns fire with interest, who doesn't fold under pressure but digs deeper. And if you look past the numbers, past the highlight reels, you start to see why some people believe Whyte might be that wall. Dillian Whyte's career has been a roller coaster of violent highs and crushing lows. He's fought the biggest names in the division, eaten shots from some of the hardest hitters alive, and stood back up when others would have stayed down. But in recent years, the buzz faded. A series of disappointing performances left fans wondering if the fire was gone. His reflexes looked slower, his timing just off enough to make him look beatable. Then, just when people began writing him off entirely, something changed. Training camp footage started circulating, not from an official promo, but from gym insiders. The Dillian Whyte people saw was leaner, sharper, moving like a man 5 years younger. The hands were snapping again, the combinations were flowing, and that mean streak in his eyes looked like it was back. For the first time in a long time, people weren't talking about Whyte as a stepping stone. They were talking about him as a dangerous problem. For Moses, the stakes are deceptively high. Yes, a win would keep the momentum rolling. But it's not just about winning anymore, it's about winning in a way that makes people believe he really is the heir to the heavyweight throne. The boxing audience is ruthless. They don't just want to see him win, they want to see him dominate, dismantle, and leave no doubt. Anything less, and the whispers begin. Maybe he's not ready. Maybe he's just another overhyped prospect, and against someone with Whyte's resume, a win on points won't silence those whispers. It will feed them. The reality is, up until now, Moses hasn't faced a fighter who can match Whyte's level of experience. We're talking about a man who's shared the ring with Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Joseph Parker, Alexander Povetkin, and Derek Chisora. Those aren't just names on a record, those are years of navigating elite-level traps, feints, and survival instincts. Whyte has been in wars where every second was dangerous. He's been hurt, dropped, and still managed to claw his way back into fights. You can't teach that kind of grit, and for a young fighter like Moses, who's used to controlling the pace and breaking opponents early, facing someone who refuses to crumble could be a shock to the system. Inside the camps, the strategies couldn't be more different. Whyte's team knows the young gun wants to start fast, establish dominance, and overwhelm him. So they're preparing for a slower, more deliberate approach. They want to drag Moses into deep water to make him feel the weight of every clinch, every body shot, every moment where his punches stop flowing so easily. They want to make the 20-year-old feel every minute of a long fight. On the other side, Moses' plan is pure pressure. Keep the combinations coming, use footwork to cut off the ring, and don't let the older man settle into a rhythm. The idea is to break Whyte down before that veteran engine kicks into gear. There's another layer to this, the psychological game. Moses carries himself with a kind of confidence that borders on arrogance. In interviews, he's compared his skills to champions like Alexander Usyk, not as an aspiration but as a statement of fact. That confidence is part of what makes him dangerous, but against a fighter like Whyte, it can also be a trap. Whyte thrives when he's underestimated. He's made a career out of playing the underdog, only to remind everyone that a wounded animal still has teeth. Whyte, for his part, has embraced the underdog role once again. He's been here before, written off before, and it fuels him. There's a sense that this might be his last chance to shake up the division to prove that the old warhorse can still bite. And that makes him dangerous in a way no training footage can capture. Because when a fighter knows he may never get another shot like this, he digs into reserves that younger men haven't even discovered yet. The risk factor is massive for both. For Whyte, a loss here doesn't just end his run, it closes the book on any talk of him being a serious contender again. For Moses, an upset loss could derail years of careful momentum building. He's young enough to come back, but the aura of invincibility would be gone. And in boxing, once that aura is shattered, it's almost impossible to get back. That's why every round in this fight will matter. If Moses comes out and dominates early, forcing Whyte into survival mode, the narrative will write itself. The new king has arrived. But if Whyte can weather that early storm, land some heavy counters, and make the younger man think twice before stepping in, we could be looking at a very different story. One where experience, grit, and timing topple youthful fire. This isn't just another fight on the calendar. This is a crossroads. A passing of the torch, or a reminder that the torchbearer doesn't get to choose when to hand it over. The crowd will come expecting fireworks, but the real drama might come from the moments between the punches, the adjustments, the feints, the little shifts in momentum that tell you one man is taking over. When the bell rings, one of two things will happen. Either Moses will confirm every piece of hype, tearing through a veteran and announcing himself as the future of the division, or Whyte will drag him into a kind of fight he's never been in before, one where skill and power matter less than heart, and the will to keep going when your body wants to quit. And if that happens, all the highlight reels and glowing predictions in the world won't save the young man from the reality that the heavyweight division doesn't care about potential. It cares about what you can do under the lights when someone is trying to take your head off. One man's dream will explode that night. The only question is whose. And in a sport where fortunes can turn with a single punch, the answer might not come until the very last moment.